months ago. Investigators say after Williams and King hadn't paid rent for a while, detectives started looking into their financial transactions, and it led them to their extensive scheme.
The prosecutor overheard Shirley telling him you could go to Steve's place in Dubai, where his sons went and lived.
All right, y'all, get comfortable, because this story right here is something that nobody saw coming. What started as just a quiet investigation has now turned into a full-blown storm that's got Steve Harvey's name caught right in the middle. It's the kind of situation that shows just how fast things can change in Hollywood. One day you're on top, smiling on stage, giving advice to millions, and the next, your name is being whispered in the same sentence as a federal-level scandal. So, before you even think about clicking away, stay with me till the end, because we're going to walk through everything that's been unfolding, and trust me, you'll want to hear how deep this one goes. Police say their investigation first started at a quiet home on Pineroff Road months ago. At first, it didn't seem like anything major, just a couple who hadn't paid rent for a while. But when investigators started digging deeper into their financial records, that's when everything started falling apart. The couple, Shirley Strawberry's husband, Ernesto King, and his partner in the mess, were suddenly on the radar. And when detectives connected the dots, they uncovered what they called an extensive scheme. From that moment on, this wasn't just about unpaid rent, it was about fraud, deception, and a trail that somehow led all the way back to one of the biggest names in television, Steve Harvey. Here's where it starts getting messy. During the investigation, a prosecutor reportedly overheard Shirley telling her husband, "You could go to Steve's place in Dubai where his son lives, and lay low." That line alone lit the internet on fire. Because let's be real, you don't tell your husband to go stay at Steve Harvey's Dubai place unless Steve knows about it. And if he did know, that means Steve might have been closer to this whole thing than anyone thought. Some folks online saying, maybe she just said that to calm him down, while others believe she might have actually been giving him a real hiding spot. Either way, that one conversation changed everything, because it pulled Steve Harvey's name right into the center of a criminal story that was already spiraling. Things started moving fast after that. Shirley Strawberry, one of Steve's closest co-hosts, suddenly found herself under a spotlight she never wanted. Her husband, Ernesto, was being hit with new charges, and people were talking like he was running a full-blown scam operation. But the wildest part, word spread that Steve might have tried to help Ernesto skip out the country. And if that's true, then this story isn't just gossip anymore. That's the kind of rumor that gets the feds interested real quick. It's one thing to be connected to someone shady, it's another thing entirely to be accused of helping them get away. What's crazy is how deep Ernesto's story goes. He wasn't just some random guy in the background. Oh no, he was living big, acting like a smooth operator, walking around like he had money, connections, and the kind of charm that gets people to trust him fast. He used that charm to convince people to invest money, promising business deals, media opportunities, even a chance to work with major names. And a lot of people believed him because he wasn't just anybody's husband. He was Shirley Strawberry's husband, and that name alone gave him credibility. He'd tell people, "You know who my wife works with, right?" and drop Steve Harvey's name like it was a key to the city. And that's how he pulled people in. But now, everything's collapsing and his name is dragging everyone down with him. As the investigation grew, more and more people started coming forward saying they got scammed by Ernesto. Thousands of dollars gone, no deals, no results, just lies. And now, police say this wasn't a small hustle, this was an operation. Some even claim he was using the house he shared with Shirley as a base for the whole thing. That's when Steve Harvey's name popped up again. Because when someone mentioned that Dubai connection, people started asking, did Steve know? Did he help? Or was his name just being used without permission? The internet didn't wait for answers, it exploded. Social media was full of threads, posts, and videos all speculating on how much Steve really knew. Some said he was just trying to protect Shirley, while others claimed he was trying to protect himself. Either way, every headline now had Steve Harvey and cover-up side by side, and for a man with his kind of image, that's a nightmare. See, Steve Harvey has built a career on being that father figure of entertainment, the man of wisdom, the clean-cut, family-first kind of star. He's always talking about faith, success, responsibility, and doing right by people. So imagine how damaging it is when your name suddenly gets tied to words like fraud, money trail, and federal investigation. People online started saying, Steve always gives advice to others, but look what's happening in his own circle. That kind of talk spreads fast. And once people start questioning your integrity in Hollywood, it's hard to shake off. Meanwhile, Shirley Strawberry, poor Shirley, she's been going through it. Imagine thinking you've found love, marrying a man you trust, only to find out he might have been using you as a cover for something dark. It's heartbreaking. She's been on the radio crying, apologizing to Steve, apologizing to the fans, saying she had no idea what her husband was into. Some people online showing sympathy, saying she's a victim too. Others saying she should have seen the red flags. But the truth is, when you're in love, you don't always see what's right in front of you. And now, she's paying the price for that trust. But let's be real, this mess isn't just personal anymore. It's affecting careers, money, and reputations. Steve Harvey's brand is built on trust. He's got talk shows, radio programs, business deals, endorsements, and fans who see him as that model of success and integrity. So, the idea that he might have helped someone accused of scamming people, that's dangerous. Because even if it's not true, just the rumor can cost millions. Companies don't like risk. And right now, Steve's name is carrying a lot of it. And the timing couldn't be worse. Steve's already been dealing with other online rumors, from his marriage with Marjorie Harvey to internet gossip about his personal life. Now it's like wave after wave of drama just waiting to test him. But this one's different. This one has paperwork, witnesses, and an active investigation. And that's why the internet isn't letting go. But here's where it gets even more shocking. According to reports, Ernesto has been accused of this kind of behavior for years. People say he's been bouncing from deal to deal, making promises, collecting money, and disappearing. Which raises a big question. How did nobody around Steve Harvey notice? How did a man like that get so close to a media giant's inner circle without setting off alarms? Some believe it's because Ernesto used charm and association to blend in. Others think maybe people knew but didn't want to believe it. Either way, that question, who knew what, and when, is what's keeping this story alive. Right now, fans online are split. Some say Steve's just caught in someone else's mess. Others say powerful people always protect their own. And no matter which side you're on, it's clear that this whole thing has turned from a relationship scandal into a possible legal nightmare. Ernesto's shady past is now threatening to pull down everyone attached to him, and Steve Harvey is trying hard to stay quiet. But silence, in times like this, can sound louder than words. The more you listen to how all this unfolded, the more unbelievable it gets. Steve Harvey, who has spent decades building a reputation as one of the most professional and family-centered men in entertainment, suddenly finds himself surrounded by rumors of helping a criminal lay low. It doesn't matter if it's true or not, because in today's world, perception can destroy you faster than proof ever could. And that's exactly what's happening here. Every day that Steve stays silent, the internet fills in the blanks for him. People want answers, and when they don't get them, they start creating their own versions of the story. So, make sure you stay with me till the end, because every twist in this mess connects to something bigger. When word first spread that Ernesto King had been living a double life, people were stunned. To most, he was just Shirley Strawberry's husband, the quiet man who stayed in the background while she made millions laugh on air. But now, he's being painted as the mastermind behind scams that reached far beyond his own community. Investigators claim he convinced multiple victims to invest thousands into fake companies, promising high returns and connections to people in Steve Harvey's media network. Some even say he forged documents and used Shirley's name to add credibility. Imagine hearing your husband was using your fame as a cover for crimes. That's the kind of heartbreak that changes you forever. Behind the scenes, Shirley was falling apart. Insiders say she broke down in tears more than once at work, apologizing to the staff, apologizing to Steve, apologizing to anyone who'd listen. It's like she couldn't believe she'd been fooled by someone she trusted with her life. You could hear it in her voice when she spoke publicly. She wasn't just embarrassed, she was devastated. And while she's been trying to move forward, the world just keeps dragging her back into it. Every headline ties her name to Ernesto's charges, and every story reminds people that Steve Harvey is somehow connected to all of it. But how did Steve get tangled up in this? That's the question everybody's been asking. It all started with that one leaked conversation, Shirley supposedly telling Ernesto he could go to Steve's place in Dubai to lay low. That line changed everything, because Dubai isn't just some random vacation spot for Steve, it's part of his life. He's got business there, connections there, and even family there. So when people heard Shirley's husband might have tried to run there, it started sounding like a plan, not an accident. Now, nobody's saying Steve was part of any scam, but the fact that his name keeps popping up in official reports and conversations has made people suspicious. And the internet, it's not holding back. Twitter threads are filled with speculation, TikToks breaking down timelines, and YouTube channels dissecting every word Steve hasn't said. People even pulled up old radio clips of him and Shirley laughing together, calling each other family. And now they're asking, did Steve see this coming? Because when you work that close with someone, how do you not notice something's off? It's a question that's hard to answer, and that's why the silence feels so loud. Then came the reports about Steve trying to manage the situation privately before it went public. Insiders claim he told people around him he didn't want this drama touching the show. And honestly, who can blame him? His brand depends on being clean. But here's the problem. If that conversation happened, it makes it look like he was trying to cover something up. Whether he was protecting Shirley or protecting himself doesn't matter. The optics are bad. because when you're a public figure that big, any attempt to control the narrative looks suspicious. Meanwhile, Shirley Strawberry's been caught between guilt and grief. You can tell she still loves her husband in some way, but she also knows the damage he caused. The last time she spoke publicly about it, she said she was deeply sorry for the pain and confusion this caused Steve and the fans. Those words were heavy. You could feel the regret. But now that Ernesto's new charges are piling up, people are revisiting everything she said and wondering if there's more she's not telling. It's a painful situation for her because no matter how innocent she might be, she's still carrying his shadow. And let's talk about Ernesto for a second. The man at the center of this chaos. Investigators are calling his scheme organized deception. We're talking about wire fraud, identity theft, and promises of partnerships that never existed. It's like he was building an entire world out of lies. And according to reports, he's been accused of this before. Years before he even met Shirley, people say he was involved in similar schemes. That means this might not have been new behavior, it might have just gone unnoticed because of who he married. When people see you connected to someone like Steve Harvey's inner circle, they stop asking questions. They assume you're legit. And that's what makes this story so tragic. So many people got hurt because of misplaced trust. Now, Steve Harvey's trying to keep his cool. He hasn't made any official statements, which is rare for him. Normally, he's quick to address rumors, whether it's about his career, his marriage, or the constant online chatter. But this time, he's staying quiet, and that quiet has everyone guessing. Some people say it's because he's waiting for his legal team's advice. Others think he's avoiding making the situation worse. But fans are split. Half of them say he's innocent and just being smart. The other half thinks silence means guilt. And when you've got millions of eyes on you, every move or lack of one becomes evidence in someone's theory. It's even affecting his image outside of entertainment. Steve Harvey isn't just a comedian or talk show host, he's a brand. He's the face of multiple shows, a motivational speaker, an author, and a businessman. Every deal he has depends on his public reputation. And when your name starts trending next to federal investigation and cover-up, that's a serious problem. Brands start to worry. Sponsors get nervous, and suddenly your whole empire feels unstable. The last thing he needs right now is more speculation, but it's not slowing down. If anything, the story keeps getting bigger. People close to Steve say he's been frustrated calling meetings with his team, checking what's being said online, trying to figure out the best way to handle it without fanning the flames. But this isn't like a regular rumor. It's connected to a real investigation. There are documents, court records, and people who lost money. And once the public links your name to something like that, it takes a long time to rebuild trust. Some fans online are already saying, Steve always talks about character and honesty, so he better live up to that now. It's the kind of comment that stings, especially for someone who's built a career around advice and values. And you can't ignore how this affects Marjorie Harvey either. She's been through her own share of rumors and drama online. And now her husband's name is back in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Insiders say she's standing by him, but even she knows this one's serious. You can't just brush it off when the internet is calling your husband part of a cover-up. Some tabloids are already trying to drag her into the story, claiming she's furious that this situation could damage their family's reputation. But so far, she's staying quiet too, probably hoping it blows over. Still, with each passing day, that seems less likely. And while all this chaos unfolds, Ernesto's facing even more charges. The prosecutors aren't backing down. They're reportedly digging through financial records, emails, and even social connections to see who else may have been involved or influenced. And that's where things could get dangerous for anyone connected to him, even indirectly. If investigators find any money trails that touch Steve's companies, even accidentally, it could cause a whole new wave of problems. That's what everyone's afraid of, now that this situation could snowball into something much bigger. But for now, the biggest question remains, did Steve really try to help Ernesto escape? Or is this all a twisted misunderstanding that got out of hand? The truth might not come out for a while, but the damage is already done. His name, his brand, his image, they've all been dragged into a scandal he might not have seen coming. And as more details unfold, one thing's becoming clear. This story isn't slowing down anytime soon, so stay with me till the end. Because the next part of this story, what's happening behind the scenes, what people close to the show are whispering about, and how the entertainment industry is reacting is where things get even more complicated.